for that particular research, we had 3 researchers. 2 of them just graduated, and one of them did around 30 interviews. And out of those, 8 interviews were there. So out of those, 8 interviews were there where the participants or the interviewees mentioned about why there is no information flow. Okay? So data is not flowing on construction site, especially the data related to the waste management, data related to circular economy, data related to sustainability. Okay? And then we try to investigate. So based on those 8, there were 30 interviews. Based on those 8 interviews, we tried to look into, so what we realized that basically due to institutional limitations, due to contracts, due to regulatory limitations, and due to different boundaries, contractual boundaries, the data does not flow from one step to another. And we know the construction, and the example I just gave, the third scenario, I'm being the construction site, you could see there were so many trade people, yeah? That was just on the site. You could imagine before construction, okay? During the planning stage, designing stage, and after the construction, facilities, operations, and demolition. And then there's another cycle. So in the 3R principles or the 10R principles, whatever principles you want to look into it, there is a circularity going on. So we take the material, which is the waste, to the next level, such that it's being reused either in construction or somewhere else, regardless of. It needs to stay in the economy. So the assumption is that the data which we have collected, okay, or the data which was input into a BIM model or whatever model which we were using or whatever communication technology we had, would stay there, would be transmitted, transformed to the next party. Yeah, that's our assumption. And what we expect, all these technologies which we have, and now we have got, and I think forgotten to add digital passports as well here, would be beneficial, but in reality does not happen. In reality, it's not happening. Now, what is happening is the clicker is not working. So this is what is happening. Okay, anyways. Okay, so, yeah, so as we know, there is a fragmentation in construction, okay, we usually call over the wall, and information is also passed over the wall, okay, it's like a relay race. And if we have heard of, some of the theories in information and communication, so if I have knowledge and information and data, and if I would pass over it to Vikas, then it would be only 50% transmitted. And then if he was to transmit that data to another party, it would be another 50%. So from here, 100% to 50, 50, 25. So the data is lost. Not just the data is lost, the information, the knowledge is lost. Okay, so the knowledge on the project knowledge is lost as we move forward. So at one stage we have got this physical flow of the building happening. On the other stage, where there's a communication or a digital flow of information for the project, which is broken. Okay, so, and this is restricted because there are boundaries because of the contracts, there are boundaries because of the regulatory, check boxes, and people feel that that's my obligation, that's my responsibility, I've done, khalas. I'm using khalas because in Arabic we use khalas means finish, yes? So, now, what is happening? That we in construction industry systematically, without thinking, but systematically stopping the data flow, systematically stopping the transmission of the information or the knowledge from one stage to the another one. Okay, so now the first example, and there are some phrases which we have used, the quotations from the interviewees. So what happens from the construction site, and I think I like somebody became a truck of material truck. So in construction site, now you have got a demolition waste. taken by a supplier or the guy or the, in UAE, these companies are basically the certified companies who can come and collect the waste and then take it to the waste management sites. Once they take it to the waste management site, they've been given a certificate, their job is done. They don't know what is going to happen next. The client or the contractor on site does not know what is going to happen with that waste. Okay? So there is a broken link at this stage. And you can see once the waste reaches the approved facility, the certificate is issued, responsibility is finished. The next broken phase in communication is we have got a material. Material comes with your EPDs. Okay, it would come with life cycle assessment analysis. Once the material is approved, again that information. So if I'm a contractor, I've bought that material. Even though I've received the information with that material, but information is used, not used, the material supplier or the manufacturer has nothing to do with that. Again, there is a mismatch of they are providing, but they are not taking it to the next step, that whether that information which they've collected is being used. Okay, so that's another broken, and there is a quotation from the participant for this one, is they say, once assessment is approved, the collected or submitted data is rarely revisited. You see? Then the third broken link in the communication is again and very obvious, from construction to operation phase. So you have got construction phase, you have done a lot of, based on the design, a lot of sustainability aspects in the building. It's not been properly communicated. Now during the operations, you are just doing the old ways. So regardless of how efficient, effective your heating system was, cooling system was, everything is down the drain. Okay, because the users, the operations people, and then the quote from the industry guys, BIM is mainly used to build the project, not to plan what happened afterwards. So this is the perception of the people on industry. So if we were to put this all together into one sequence, okay, you could see that that's where there is a start of our supply chain. Okay, the material is flowing, and then material would come to the construction site. So you could see here there is a clear information blockage, knowledge blockage, another knowledge blockage from construction to operations, and another knowledge blockage if there was a demolition and the waste goes to, or even the waste from the construction site after the construction goes to the waste facility again. So everybody's trying to tick their boxes. My responsibility is finished. Okay, I have nothing to do with what happens afterwards. Okay, so what we are proposing and what we are thinking, there has to be a mindset change, whereby everybody within the entire supply chain in the flow would be responsible for what is happening to the information I handed over to you. Are you using that information? Okay, because that's, if you are trying to bring circularity, it's not just about using technology. But we are using technology, but we need to see how much we have retained in the technology. Okay, we have technology, but making sure that it's being used as well. So we need to make sure that our data stays alive. Okay, our responsibility does not finish after we have finished our job, as well as we should have some sort of regulations, compliance, where would force each and every participant to share the responsibility. Okay, so to finish with, the true circularity starts by ensuring a building's digital memory lasts exactly as long as the building, which could be 50 years, 60 years. So thank you very much.
Thank you for the presentation. So any questions from the audience? Okay.
Yes.